Hey guys, it's Max here and welcome to our first proper episode of WWF in 1983. You join us for our first big event, and yeah, we'll basically be documenting where I've made a mess, where I've done okay, and the beginning of the learning of the many mistakes that will be made over the course of this series. Now, to give you an idea, I record these the day before they go live, so it does seem like still it's going to be the 14th, judging by the latest update that's up on the forums, meaning you'll get this episode and there'll be one more, which will be the February event. Then we'll hold off until the full game, obviously until we can progress into March. Or, if we've destroyed the WWE or WWF by then, we'll start again, but I think we should be fine to keep going. Thankfully, Georgia Championship Wrestling haven't stole too many wrestlers. It's mostly been handshake deals. The only one they got written, it was just a case of battling against them and we didn't get him, was Piper. But you can see that we've signed Hulk Hogan. But yeah, it's been pretty good. It's been quite playable, which is good. I would say we are losing pop continuously in our region, but we're gaining elsewhere. But I don't mind that, because the reality is we're trying to expand and get bigger elsewhere to get more finances. As long as we get the financial backing, then we can look to bring in the people we want to bring in, and we can go from there. You can see we've got one event pre-booked there. We are broadcasting on the MSG network just to try and get some more money in, because I'll show you the finances, and you never know, we could end up being positive by the end of it. Now, this looks like the standard Maxi show, or Maxi company, with the full roster being morale issues. This one's because of the Backstage rating is 0. Now, we could consider that being a negative, which it probably is, but you forget this is 1983. There was literally no rules in the Backstage area. You know, they're taking everything, they've got dirty doctors, so I thought, you know what, even if somebody's popping up with steroids, it's technically what was going on back then, so I've been quite happy to just let everything slide at the moment. We are 108,000 loss so far, but we have been gaining money as the months went on, so I'm hoping that's just a kind of getting used to it kind of problem, but we'll see how we are. We are 7th in the world, and we are a medium company. I just want to show the quick couple of ins and outs, because there's been like a few people in and a few people, you know, that we've kind of done here. So you can see recent news headlines. Sherry Martel's in as a manager. She's only 24, so we can massively build up her presence as a manager. Get Hacksaw, because he was quite popular in most places. We've got Gino Hernandez, and we've got Hulk Hogan in as well. They are done deals, they are in. We've done a few shows, and yeah, we've not really lost them. The alumni, none. So nobody's went. Everybody, if they have left, has been on a handshake deal elsewhere. So if I can find my finances, again, just getting used to where everything is on the screen. So you can see at the moment, production was a big thing, so I did take down a lot of the production to lower than our rivals, so it means it is going to hamper our show ratings, but as I say, not every wrestling show is going to be a success, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's been probably more sensible with the financial structure of the company to start with, before we can start stretching out and getting, you know, more over wrestlers. And obviously want to bring through wrestlers that really should have, or did break through in real life. So again, it's just more about enjoying the journey, rather than just going, oh, I need to have a great show, I need to have an amazing show as well. So we've booked 4 main shows, 3 B shows. If I can just find our show history here, you can see that's 4 All-Star Wrestlings and 3 of the Wrestling Challenge. It's weird, we started off with like better crowds, but then the crowds kind of dwindled for the B show. But I don't know if that's just the mod taking shape. I don't mind that. We were scheduled to get like 10,000 people at the first show, and only, you know, 6,000 people showed up. So yeah, it was a bit iffy there, but it's one of those ones where again I just think it's the mod taking shape. We're scheduled to get 20,000 here the night, or sell at MSG. I don't think we will. I think we'll maybe get about 10,000 if we're lucky, but at the end of the day, it's still money coming into the company. So without further ado, we'll crack on. Just remember though, the other thing as I will say is we are basically doing 2 years of this, and then as soon as we hit 1985, similar to real life, we'll have our first WrestleMania, and then we'll start introducing the Big 4, and then of course other pay-per-view names as we go down the line, if we are still functioning as a company. I'm just going to see, is this going to let me access broadcasting? Nah, I was going to hopefully show you what MSG was on, but honestly, for the life of me, cannot remember. That's literally all we've got. Medium in the tri-state. And that is it. It's the only place that's going to see it. So we'll crack on, we'll explain stuff as it's been going along. There's your match card there. 11 segments. Yeah, let's go 190 minutes. 2 hours of WWF action. So one of the people I've brought in has been Gino Hernandez. Truly enjoyed the sad tale, unfortunately, of his in Dark Side of the Ring, and I thought this could have been a guy that could have been absolutely massive. So giving him a chance in the opener. Good to see we did get a pretty accurate attendance, the 19, just under 19,500 there at the MSG. So he takes on Tito Santana. It was a bout that had good heat, but subpar wrestling. And Gino Hernandez defeats Tito Santana in 10-10, illegally using the ropes for leverage. So in this one, unfortunately, both guys didn't click. But Gino's getting better at his gimmick. A 48 for Tito Santana and a 50 for Gino Hernandez. Overall, the segment rating was a 43. But it's an okay opener. It doesn't get the crowd warm or anything. But obviously it's a lot different to how it is now with regards to booking a show. One day I'll be able to scroll down there, not on patch 10. Next up, we had a bout that had a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. We had Kurt Hennig defeat Pat Patterson in 5:32 with the Hennigplex. Kurt Hennig is one of the projects that I'm trying to get over as much as possible. So it does have fantastic overness within the tri-state region that we're in. I think it's tri-state, or is it Great Lakes? It's one of the two, but whatever region we are, he's not over, so I'm pushing him over in this particular region. Giving him some good victories, and as I say, he's going to be an absolutely massive player, hopefully, for us. The segment rating was a 54. Patterson with a better performance. He is over 40, which to me is time decline. Controversial, but yeah, he's going to be someone that's going to be vital in putting over the next generation of WWF superstars. Next up, we had the WWF World Tag Team Championships on the line. Don't worry, there is angles. I just kind of tried to do it similar to real life, where you would get occasional angles, which is really promos backstage. But about here that had great heat and decent wrestling. And it was the Wild Samoans, Afa and Sika, who defeated Jay and Jill Strongbow in 10:08 when Afa pinned Chief Jay Strongbow with a Samoan drop. The Wild Samoans win the World Tag Team Championship titles. Now for this one, I think it's Chief Jay Strongbow, or one of them is like 53, so instantly to me that's get him off the titles. He's putting people over. I'm sorry, I always view it to the Ric Flair role when he gets to about 2003. He's putting people over, and Afa and Sika can ensure we're getting good ratings, but they'll carry good matches, I'd imagine, as we try and promote tag teams up. Chief Jay Strongbow got a 64, Jill Strongbow with a 58, Sika was a 55, and Afa was a 74, so Afa the by far standout there. Tag Team Warfare advanced. The match suffered because there was not enough selling on show, and we also had both Chief Jay Strongbow and Afa off their game. And Tony Garea could have done better work at ringside, putting this match together as the road agent, and Captain Lou Albana did some good work at ringside. But overall, a 62 is good. If we jump to the duck sheet, you can see negatives: declining physical ability, locker room morale, poor selling, everything basically telling me that it's probably time to let Chief Jay Strongbow jump down the card. Next up with a promo, it was Hulk Hogan hyping his upcoming singles match with Big John Studd. 49, not a great rating, but we're building Hulkster up. John Studd was one that I thought I was going to lose, but he only went in a handshake deal, and I just feel like that was a good opener. Hogan's been beating lesser folk in the card. This is a kind of mid-card guy that Hogan's against, or an upper echelon, but not quite main event. But I'm thinking it's a good starting point on at least a big event, and a good way to keep launching Hulkamania, brother. So, as you would expect, Hogan gets the win with a match that had good heat and decent wrestling, and he wins in 12:02 with an axe bomber. I'm assuming that was his finisher before the leg drop. But anyways, 44, a 56 rating for 56 for Hogan, a 53 for John Studd. Freddie Blassie did some good work at ringside, but Vince McMahon was not a great road agent here. But the reality is, it's a long build of Hulk Hogan, and yeah, you have to start somewhere. Penalised because of the lack of associated storyline. I only went 12 minutes as well, so that's maybe something I need to learn as a booker as well, that everything has to have a storyline if it's somewhere in the card. Thought less than 15 minutes would have covered that, but obviously not in this. But yeah, it was a short reprogram for Hogan, and he'll move on to other things going forward. Next up, we had the Intercontinental Championship on the line. It was about that had great heat and decent wrestling. This was a storyline already in the mod. And we had Pedro Morales defend and defeat Don Morocco, but it was via countout in 10:04. Pedro Morales made the 5th defence of the IC title. I do want to put it on Don Morocco at one point, but unfortunately, as you can see there, he is carrying an injury, but I did want to do the match. So, good to know that he's going to get a 63 performance there, and that's working through that injury, so he'll take a wee bit of time off. But it got the crowd hotter. Morales 59, and Don Morocco with a 63. That's pretty good for where it was placed in the card, so happy with that. Next up, we had a promo. It was the Iron Sheik hyping this newcomer to the World Wrestling Federation, Jim Duggan. Just usual, oh, he's American, etc., etc. Just pure slagging off his country. And a 51 rating there for the Iron Sheik, accompanied by his manager, classy Freddie Blassie. The match itself, was okay. I'm quite happy with that at this moment in time, but it had good heat and decent wrestling, as with Jim Duggan defeat the Iron Sheik in 13:40 via disqualification. A 59 for Jim Duggan, a 50 for the Iron Sheik. Duggan debuted his Patriot gimmick, which unfortunately got an initial rating of awful, so not ideal. But it means it gives him a victory, albeit via DQ, because you did get a few of them with managers getting involved back in the day. Next up was our championship match. Yep, a WWF World Heavyweight Championship match, not even main eventing. It was about that had a fantastic amount of heat and great wrestling. Backlund defeats Ray Stevens in 13:41 with a cross-faced chicken wing, so a submission victory. And it was his 22nd defence of the World Heavyweight title. So keeping it on him just now. If I'm being honest, he was scheduled to face superstar Billy Graham, who would not put him over without being furious in any sort of way. So I'm like, cool. I want the title staying on Backlund, so a 56 is what we have to suffer. 85 performance from Backlund, a 67 from Ray Stevens, who was off his game, and Dick Crow, I can't remember his real name, it must have done better as a road agent. As you can imagine, match would have obviously had a lot of negatives, declining physical ability on the likes of Ray Stevens, and of course the associated storyline, plus the poor work of the road agent is a reason for that. But I say, you're always going to get a few poor ratings in your first couple of shows until you suss everything out, especially when it comes to a new game as well, so not necessarily panicking there. But not our main event. That is for the 8th wonder of the world. First off, we've got the Grand Wizard of Wrestling with his superstar, the masked superstar, and just really hyping up this matchup. I think that maybe gives away the spoiler of what happens, the name of the storyline. The unbeaten run of Andre the Giant has advanced and gained heat with this segment. Got the crowd over, got the crowd hotter, 61, and that main event match was exceptional. And it saw Andre the Giant defeat the masked superstar in 11:42 by pinfall with a body slam. Andre got a 91, the masked superstar gets 73, the unbeaten run is advanced and gained heat, and Dick Crow could have done better as a road agent as the match wasn't put together well. But overall, I'm happy with a 69 main event. It's kind of like using Andre as much as I can before he obviously gets older and allowing the rest to catch up and get over to a main event level. Mr. Hogan, Mr. Duggan, etc. But it's a decent start. As I say, there's a lot to learn, especially when it's a mod that was based in an era that was way before I was born. I'm an old guy and this is even older than me. So there's a lot of guys where I'm kind of like, who are you and what did you do back then? To say I wasn't a thing at that time. So overall, finished the show. So it looks bad with all the reds there. The show lost its pop in one region. Yes, it loses its pop because we have to get over 70s to get a gain in pop within our region, but I don't mind about that. Obviously, we're going to get lesser ratings because of the production. That's cool. It saves us money. And the main thing is, the rating's high enough for the MSG network, so it'll keep us on there. That's more exposure. And yeah, ticket sales for 19,000, I think it's going to keep us in a good financial stead. So there is negatives, but it's a short-term loss for a long-term gain, hopefully, that is the mindset behind it. Not really bothered about doing a speech, but we'll jump in to the home screen. We'll take a wee look at see what's happening, any feedback. I've noticed that as well, a lot of kind of stuff, hostility between AWA, obviously you can see here, GCW done it previously, and then you can see the World Wrestling Council, I think that is as well, or the World Class Championship Wrestling, I do apologise. Yeah, quite a few things there with stables, etc. But let's see what affects us. So this one, Tito Santana, identified as steroid user. It's 1983, doesn't matter. Small negative impact. Lord Alfred Hayes abuses painkillers. It's 1983. And the Grand Wizard of Wrestling abuses painkillers. It's 1983. So there's a small negative to all of them, but at the end of the day, the status I just use as my base of it. It was 1983, it's a different time frame. The dark side of the ring is open eyes to a lot of that, so aye. Total drug testing was 6,000, that's fair enough. We get a 0.11 TV rating, which is 84,786 viewers for the show. And Hulk Hogan, well, obviously he's just fought recently. That means I'll not have him on the broadcast I'll be doing tonight, which is All Stars? Wrestling Challenges tonight, so that's our B show. But look at that. There we go. So, what I can kind of look at this and gather, and obviously it'll be kind of clearer when we get to the end of the month and we get to the second show next month, is if we keep running these big shows at the end of each month in the tri-state area at the MSG, then we are going to keep gaining pot, which means I can look at bringing back up the production values. Obviously I didn't know we were going to get near 20,000 gate for our first event, but I'll keep an eye on it. As I say, if we end the month, because obviously we're still getting more deduction by the end of the month as well, and we're still in a very positive financial light, then I'll put up production to the level where it can rival our rivals, and hopefully we can really kick on with the World Wrestling Federation. I just wanted to get as much financial backing behind them as possible, so when it comes to 1985 we can go around nabbing each wrestler for each company and properly do what Vince McMahon did, which was, well, take over the business. So that's it for the first episode. The second episode, again, only be 2 episodes in the beta unless it gets expanded, which at this time doesn't look likely, but you don't know. Things can obviously change. Whereas events and TV, so you can see here every Saturday the 4th week. So yeah, that'll be that one. As I say, the only real thing that's sort of pay-per-view going forward is the King of the Ring. But as I say, no plans for WrestleMania until 1985. But I want to make this a save that goes right through. It'd be quite cool to see. You can actually see there, before we finish as well, we can see our best ratings. So our week 1 was the best. That is the All-Star Challenge, so it's been a bit iffy. And Wrestling Challenge, obviously using lesser wrestlers because it's a B show. And obviously we're about to hit our 4th show today. So that's it. Cheers for watching. If you have any plans of using the Death of the Territory mod, this is of course converted from TW's 16 version. Let me know. Let me know how you found, if you are a wrestling historian or if you were alive in 1983, how you found wrestling back then. And do you think I am absolutely doomed in this save? Let me know. That aside, a free thumbs up is appreciated. Any comments on wrestling in general, how you feel WWF is going, or WWE is going on the road to Money in the Bank. And in terms of schedule, as I say, there'll be one more episode of this for the full game, which this I will carry on into the full game. The C-verse will just be every day I can get one recorded. As I say, we've got right up until full release to get, so we'll see how people feel with that series, if it's worth carrying on, or if it's just a case of folk wanting to try something different in the C-verse and fully focus onto real world stuff. But until then, usual, keep an eye on the Grey Dog software forums for all patches if you're still playing the beta, and of course just updates on how the game's development's going. Fantasy Booker subreddit for some more written stuff by a lot of people, and of course other YouTubers are on there as well, and TWDB on Twitter. I always do that, it's easier to go to that. That tweets out a lot of stuff as well, and of course that gives you the link to the website, which has mods, YouTube shows, everything you want on there. But cheers for watching, guys. Most importantly, stay safe, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you next time for some more TEW2020 action. Cheerio, bye.